Lately, I've been feeling down about my career in Hollywood, but my mom reminded me of all that I've done so far when it comes to my career in Hollywood, from Real Housewives of Rhode Island to Vanderpump Rules, Love is Blind to E! News. And it was a nice reminder to feel like I've come a long way, even when I don't feel like it sometimes. So hold on, I'm calling my mom.
Hit the line, what's the tea? They talk about everything. Rolls on, I'm calling my mom. Rhode is here, Barb too, and they talk about everything. Rolls on, I'm calling my mom.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast. I'm Paul, if you don't know already, and we are joined by the lovely, radiant, needs to get her hair done, Barbara, my mom. Hi, Barb.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Well, no, we
Jeez.
were just talking about it because I literally came on here and I was like, I just hopped out the shower. I got that little look. I feel like people are going to think that I'm doing this for like a purpose, like it's stylistic. What do you think of that? Yeah, it's a giving.
Very Elvis-ish.
Just a little dangle of the bang right here.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, what's the guy who played Elvis?
Austin Butler.
Yeah, little
It was
Austin Butler.
It's giving that. My hair is wet. The skincare is locked in still. The skin is tight. I did all that, but the hair is wet. We had to get the Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast up and running because we got plans after this. So we were like, we got to lock in. So it's giving real natural.
Yeah, so is mine because I had to cancel my appointment for a your brother emergency. So all good, but
yeah,
had to cancel that appointment.
I was gonna say, Brett was supposed to join us. My brother Brett was supposed to join us this week as well as Jordy, but Brett had an issue with one of his testicles, which he'll be able to share with us next week, when that is now the week that we're planning on discussing everything. Because that was our plan last week, was saying, Brett was going to join us, and a little blip happened. And
an unforeseen circumstance
with a testicle. And Barb's a ride or die mom that she canceled her hair appointment to the point that her roots are given Jamie Priestley and Joe Dirt vibes. That's how ride or die she is right now.
Well, it was literally, I was getting in my car to go to my appointment.
And she had the opportunity to either question whether she was going to cancel it or keep the hair appointment. Some moms may have kept the hair appointment. Barb, she flew to the rescue to the hospital for that one nut. So that is really ride or die type shit, if I do say so myself.
Of course.
But not to scare everybody, Brett does have his testicles still.
Fine.
He's in good standing. Everything's okay. But he wanted to, this is a very recent thing that just happened. So we're going to let him rest up, get, center himself for next week. And because I felt like there was no point to bring on Jordy this week if Brett's not coming, because we had a family therapy session.
Thing. Yeah.
Well, we had a family therapy session this past week. It was good. It left us feeling a little conflicted of people not understanding each other. Not, somebody's feeling slighted. Someone feels misunderstood. Someone feels like if they jump in, then they're going to be biased towards one kid or another. So I want to get into all that, but I'm like, we can't do it without Brett. And then Jordy was going to jump in because I thought, what a perfect way for an outsider, but not an outsider, to really assess the way that we work as a family in our ecosystem and be like, okay, Barb, you need to do this. Paul, you need to do this. Brett, you need to do this. So,
we're gonna see where we started in his eyes to where we are now as an outsider. Yeah,
exactly. Like, have we gotten better? Or have we gotten worse over time? Like, what has he noticed?
We've definitely, I think there's better parts and then there's other parts. Yeah.
Well, I think
we've got worse, just better.
No, I think we've gotten better in terms of trying to like understand each other and like be better at communicating and like showing up in the way that like we know that person can like understand it. But I think we probably would, maybe in the eyes of somebody who like came into our family, have gotten worse, because when you show up, you kind of give the like polished version of yourself and you're not fully immersed in it.
Like, we love each other. There's nothing wrong with us.
Yeah, which I mean, that Yeah, I mean, on some days, not all the time, but, like,
No, I
y
know, I'm kidding.
you know, I think, like, in terms of, like, when, Jordy came into our family, it was like, yeah, you don't wanna be fighting with your siblings in front of your significant other, you don't wanna be checking your mom in front of your significant other, like, that's
Yeah, yeah.
but then, obviously, like, 5 years in, you're gonna have a different take on, like, "Okay, well, this is really what it is, and this is what I'm dealing with, so
Yeah.
this is how we get down over here, so,
But
we're gonna."
also 5 years in, gets to know the background that comes with that and all the other stuff, so
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, the good and the bad, honey, clock it. Clock it, Barb. So, did you
Wait,
clock it?
I did. I
Oh,
just watched something. It's gonna be called Cats
the
Broadway.
musical?
Yes, but it's not Cats, like the old school Cats. It's Cats Broadway or something, and
Okay.
it's sitting there, it's like audience and participation, and they were sitting there showing the
Oh, and the
reporter
audience
who was
was and
they
they're
were showing the reporter, like, "This is what we do this and stuff." Yeah, it was on, CBS this morning.
I walked by, there was a girl who had it was the No Kings protest the other day, and I walked by and, because I was on which we're gonna get into, I was on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and someone had, like, "Fuck Donald Trump," like, sign, and I walked by her and I was like, "Clock it, yes," or it's like, "Get him out of office," and I did that to her. I don't know if it registered to her what I was doing, but I was in support of her statement, so, um, yeah. But why I was on the Hollywood Walk of Fame well, first, before we even get into the Hollywood of it, all of that, you were one step closer to moving to Los Angeles
I am. I
because
am.
yesterday well, we really thought we might have had
I
the
know.
make or break moment of getting the place that Barb has envisioning for her and Brett to move to California, to be closer to me, to move 3,000 miles across the country, to be a part of the LA community. And we went to the location yesterday to check it out. And what did you think, Barb? Let the people know. Lay the context for the people, what the unit looked like, what we were looking at, the vibes, the aesthetics, what you
I mean,
want.
the vibe and the vibe is it's a great area, but it's a very particular area. So you're gonna have the beach, then you have this Naples, the lagoon where we went
Mhm,
kayaking at. You have
mhm.
this little, um,
Naples
park.
Lagoon, is that what you called it?
That's what it's called.
Oh, I thought it was like you were making fun of, like, Italy.
No, it's called
Oh,
Naples.
oh, okay.
Uh, girl, I did my research.
Okay, as she should if she's gonna move here and be a resident.
And then you have this little, and I don't wanna say downtown because it's not. There's a downtown, and then there's this little part that has the little restaurants and the coffee shops and this and that,
Mhm.
and it's like a particular area. So, not and we're not being picky, but it is gonna be 2
Well, no, we
people.
are being you are being picky. You're moving,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
gonna like me to tell your age, but she's blank blank, and she
Oh my
is
god, I think that's the first time you've never said it. You
well,
just said blank blank.
because you made
Good.
an issue about it last week, so I gotta make sure that I don't do it again, and we talked about that oh, no, yesterday we were talking and you got emotional because you said that's why you hate talking about your age because the
It's not
older
a
you get,
vain thing.
yeah, exactly, so I knew it was a sensitive subject, so I wanted to make sure I was cautious, but when somebody's lived in one place for their whole life in one state, that is all you know, and the
That's
same with
all I know.
Brett, and my
Yeah.
brother's turning 30 this year, so it's like, yeah, you are being picky, which you should be because you wanna make sure the place that you're going gives you what you want. Like, if you are taking that risk of going, you want things to line up, and you want it to be the most comfortable experience you can have.
Yes, we definitely have boxes that we like to check, and one of the boxes is at least a parking spot
Yeah. Well
because it's a do or die to try to find parking if you're trying to do that on a street anywhere in California. Like, it's just not It's
Well,
just not
so
ideal. And if I'm
no,
sitting there working and I'm coming out at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't feel like sitting there walking a block to
walking
go get
block to
my
get your
car
no.
or
Uh-uh.
coming home after working 12 hours to try to find in parallel a parking spot. Just it's not ideal. So that's
No.
definitely like on the list. I would prefer to have the laundry in the house.
Yes.
If it's a small little thing, I can do that. I can do without. Me and Brett had discussed that. But priorities are 2 bedroom, 2 bath. I don't want to share a bathroom with my 30-year-old son.
Hell
I like
no.
to have him privacy. I like my privacy. And we don't really want the bedrooms like right next to each other on top of each other. You know what I mean?
No,
We'd
because you don't
rather
wanna be,
have a
like,
little yeah,
knocking,
yeah,
"Mom, you in there? Someone's over. Mom, be
exactly.
quiet. Be quiet.
Right. But
Mom,
we
mom,
thought this
calm it
was
down in there. I hear you and Big Blue in there.
ah,
Calm down."
stop.
It's too much.
So, it's too much. So, they are like the priorities. So, this one was looked nice, it was updated, it was 2 stories, so it had
Mhm.
steps. Loved that idea,
Yeah.
but it was just too small.
Too
It
small,
too
and
small, no
this
parking spot.
no, and when I pulled
And
up,
for
I
the
was just like,
price yeah, for the
yeah,
price it was asking, it was just it didn't hit those boxes. Great area, again, you're paying
yeah.
for the area, right a block and a half from the beach, but I
Location
need
was
a
great.
little
Location
mhm.
was great, but I was pulling up already, and I hate to say it, I was pessimistic just because I was, like, parking on the street for my mom and my brother who don't parallel park, like, on a regular at all in Jersey. That's, like, not a
No.
thing where we grew up at and where you guys live. So I'm like, okay, I picture them being like, "I can't find a fucking parking like, just stressed out, and it's, like, doing that for a whole year. I just don't feel like hearing it. So I was
Oh
just
my
like,
god, that would totally be us.
"No, I know." That's why I was like, "This is just gonna
Get
be a
out
shit
of your
show."
car and stay there until I
Yeah,
get
and
there.
hold it, and then someone's getting mad that you're trying to hold a spot because that's not it. Like, I just was
Yeah.
like, "No, this is not gonna work," especially, like, having people come over and it's just no. I was like, "I'm
I
good on this."
know, that's what I mean, like, fend for yourselves, and then I'm fend it's just they're, like, just certain little I guess it's not picky, you're right, it's just, like, things,
Yeah,
you know,
so I
that
don't
we need.
consider that picky, but we ended up clearly you're not gonna move forward with it, which is fine. We'll
I
put it
know.
that just means something better is out there, so we just have to remember that, and I've looked at probably now, I wanna say, what, almost 10 places in this year just to see if and I that one first place was really the one.
I
I
know,
know,
and that's what I think that's the problem is that first one was literally every box. It was
I know.
ideal location, scenery, inside, outside,
Yeah,
like, it was just perfect.
eh
Security, it had a parking spot. It just
I need to
yeah,
follow up with her actually now that you said that. I should be like, "Hey, can you keep me in mind if any places come up?" Because that
yeah.
place was we drove by it when we were looking at the place
And it was
yesterday.
cheaper than the one
I
yesterday,
know.
and it had more to offer,
I
so,
know.
w
I know.
expectations, but y we literally, what, jumped right at that one, right? We went
We
home,
did. Filled out
applied,
the
and
application, yeah, and
everything,
some little bitch took it because they got their application in before, and
and
she
for
played by the
us.
rules.
Yeah,
What was her name? Olga? Yeah, right?
I keep
Olga?
wanting to say Elvira.
No. I did see Elvira yesterday, though. Speaking
Yeah,
of,
there you
wow, what a
you
great
did.
segue. So, Barb's Hollywood journey is still in the works, but my Hollywood journey was on the Hollywood Walk of Fame yesterday because I made an impulse decision and I went to the Hollywood Museum. I've lived here for 10 years, have never went.
I
And
don't know how we never but you know what? I'm wondering if it's on Christmas, I got you and Jordy that box where you sit and
oh, this I gotta do that.
I know, and I
I
was
gotta
like,
do
"I wonder if
if
it's
it's
on
on
in
there.
that." But I was like, "You guys haven't used that yet."
I know, I should open that up. There's someone else
Yeah.
Carlo got us a gift too that, like, was like a couples thing, and I don't we didn't really do it, so I need to be better at doing those things, but,
Yeah, I bet you
um,
it's in there.
I decided to go. I was, like, on a whim, I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna check it out." They have a whole Maryland expedition is
Let's
that
go.
expedition? Is it? No.
No.
Exposition, right?
Exhib
Exhibition. Yeah,
Yeah.
exhibition. So they have a whole room full of her, like a deep dive of like the golden era of Hollywood, like watching all the old movies, and I could watch any biography that's like on her. So I went, and then I saw like, you know,
The
her.
Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, The Walking Dead was there. Elvira was there. We saw
Yeah,
the
but
Eartha
Marilyn, yeah, you had the dress and the little
and her
vanity thing.
bustier or whatever, and it was like 20, what was it, 36, 22. Her like measurements are fucking insane. Like,
Insane.
and I was like, thank God I'm on my peptides, because Marilyn's giving me a little. I was like, damn, she's making a bitch feel real bad about herself. So I do have to say, last week we talked about the peptides. I started it last week, and
Oh,
we
you're
now
jumping right into that, aren't you?
I am, yeah. What, the story or the actual peptides
Yeah, we
experience?
went from the story to peptides.
Oh, well, because Marilyn really made me feel like, oh, okay, I really need to be getting my shit together, and I
I
lost 4 pounds.
Bodies were very differently built those days to now.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Men,
yeah. I mean,
women.
I don't think it was in the healthiest way either, if I'm being honest. I think it was very toxic. So, I mean, the people are putting tapeworms, doing God knows what. But I'm just injecting myself now. So, you know, we've come a long way as a society in Hollywood, but I lost 4 pounds. So,
Oh, I guess
you're
I should.
clapping. But I wanted to update everyone on it, because I'm like, you can't just say something and not follow through with it. So anyway, but I had a really, that's my peptide experience. But I just was looking at everybody, and I was just like so in admiration of like the glamour of Hollywood,
Yeah, it
and
was
just
very
like
glamour.
oh my gosh, it was just calm. They had like the Eartha Kitt Catwoman, which is iconic, and then you had Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, and then you had Lucille Ball, Betty Davis. It just was like really, really cool to just like experience that. And I said, I just feel like, I don't know, no one really goes to Hollywood Boulevard. Some lady tried yelling at me because I tried walking down the street, and she thought that she owned the sidewalk and I didn't move for her. So, you know, we don't really go to Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, it just is so not
Well,
it.
because we went a couple, like, you can only go so many times, you already know what it is. I
I
mean,
know,
we'll
but I
take
even feel
people
like
if
it's
it's their first time going. When Brett's friend Sydney came, shout out Sydney.
shout out
Um,
Sydney. But no, I know,
we
but
took
it's not
her
even,
there. Yeah.
it's not the same though. Like when we
No,
first
no, no,
came
no.
to visit, what, 11, 12 years ago,
Yeah.
it was, it felt different when we were there. Now, like when I go, I'm like, this is not, don't hit the same way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I still love it. Like there's something like, I don't know, like I watched, it was like the
It's
Hollywood
iconic.
land. It
Yeah.
is, I know. And I hope it never like fully disappears, because you just, there's
No, it won't. People are still getting their stars out there and stuff. Yeah.
I know, but it's not as like that glamour of that it
Yeah.
just, that old Hollywood movie star vibe is not really like a thing anymore. So it's just kind of like, you know, will that ever fully disappear? And I never wanted to, because I love it so much. And there's just something that is so glamorous about it. But
I really want to know the process of getting a star.
well, you have to pay for it.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, it's not like
No, you
they're
don't just get it and they're honoring it
yeah,
to you.
and they're honoring it to you. Like, you petition and have to pay for it, don't you?
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
petition for it, pay for
I
it.
don't think
Also,
everybody knows that. I think people are just like, oh, they're honored.
no. I mean, I think there
Yeah.
comes a point in your career where it's like you're at the level where it's like a conversation, because it makes sense at that point. But like,
Yeah.
you can't just be like, oh, someone's just not going to be like, oh, we're going to honor you with the
Getting
star.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a whole thing. Yes, you pay for it, you petition for it. Yeah. I don't think people know that.
That was great that
Sorry,
you brought
people.
up this. Yeah, sorry to break your hearts that Hollywood Boulevard is
Right.
not what it is, and the Hollywood Walk of Fame, your Hollywood dreams. If you want to come, tourism is, don't come here. That's what Barb's saying. Don't come.
No, no, no. You
No,
have to
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
absolutely have to go see it. It's
It is.
it's yeah.
Well, I want to talk about my Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame today in this week's episode, because I
Okay.
feel like we have gotten, because I'm going to talk about my Hollywood experience this week,
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
it's a Hollywood week. we've gotten so many questions like throughout the past, months that we've been doing the podcast. And sometimes I feel like the questions don't fully translate to the episode. So I always just like keep those things to be like, oh, there's a perfect time to use them. So I'm going to use it because I feel like Barb's moving to Hollywood. Barb, I felt very connected. Yeah,
I'm
do your
petition. I'm petition.
yeah, swing your Jamie Presley Joe Dirt hair. There you go. And then
Oh,
I
stop.
I felt like yesterday I felt even more connected to Hollywood being there. I a bitch is on her peptides and we got Real Housewives of Rhode Island premiering this week.
I know. I can't. I'm gonna have to. You know me. I lack in that. I only watch them when you're
I'm home
here.
and then I'll be like, I'll put it on and then I'll be like, okay, I'm leaving to go meet up with a friend or go to the gym. And I come home and 6 hours later, the like marathon that Bravo has, Barb's still watching it on
Yeah,
TV
because then it
because she
sucks
gets
me
sucked in.
in.
Exactly. It's
So
escapism.
yes. So I think I'm gonna definitely have to
You
start
are.
first episode of when it airs.
Well, the
Yes.
girlies follow Barb on Instagram, like the girls, the cast.
Yeah.
The cast no, they follow you.
I know.
Yeah, you just were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, yeah." Be like, "Yeah." Like, I was
Yeah.
like, "Bitch, you're superstars. You're getting followed by celebs."
I
So,
know.
I first, I feel like I talk and sometimes I don't realize if people even know. I helped cast and develop the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, and thanks, clock it. And I am so proud of doing that because to me, I've grown up watching this franchise and to be able to have the experience to be able to start a first season
I
and
know.
get to see what that's like from beginning, middle, end. Like the process of casting and developing a show is so interesting to me. I love these women so much. I truly like I feel like I'm like their biggest fan in the sense of I just always root for good
Yeah.
people and like the women that I've connected with that are on the show. Just like, I remember the first day that I called them and, was like, hey, so tell me a little bit about yourself. And, you get to know them and you really start to like be invested in their story.
They have called you when we've been in the
Yeah,
car or something.
yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that I just yeah, like or I was there or you were here talking to them or interviewing. Like I just feel like I was around it.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you've been in my apartment when I've interviewed some of them and like have
Yes.
done things for them. So it's like
Mhm.
you know all of the BTS and behind the scenes. But
I know.
yeah, I just really feel very much like championing them,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
said like
yeah.
there's just so many levels. Like when you cast a show like this, first of all, it's like you start like finding nuggets. Like, you meet these people, you get connected with them, the players of the town and the city or the state. And then you start to piece together like, how is this a show? And like,
Yeah.
what makes it work and what doesn't. And then, these people are just everyday people living their life and then they get a call from someone like me being like, hey, have you ever thought about being on a Real Housewives franchise? I love now seeing the progression of them being like owning that they are superstars. Like when you talk to them and you're like, oh, this girl's just a star, and then now you
Yeah.
see them tap into it and own it. So
I was gonna say, aren't you like excited to see how like you're not part of the editing and going, you know what I mean, on scene. So aren't you
yeah,
curious to see like how it's all now meshed together and everybody's together and
I'm
what you
excited to
made from
see
it?
like
Yeah.
when I meet somebody, I'm like I'll use like Liz McGraw. Love her. Like when I met her, I was like, she just has anchoring queen bee energy, right? And I'm like, oh, is that the way that she'll be positioned,
Right.
on it?
Right.
Or is
Right.
that just my, like Joellen? I'm like, Joellen is like, will say what's ever on her mind, right? Like she is a straight shooter. And like that's the friend that you want to have when you're fighting with somebody and be like, girl, let them
Yeah.
know, like, and I'm like, oh, is she gonna come across that way? Alicia, hilarious, like just so naturally funny. Like, is she gonna be the comedic relief? Rosie, like, kind of like what's on her mind and what she thinks, and it's very like, this is how I feel, I'm gonna say it. And she's good at like stirring the pot a little bit and like, owns it and is funny about it. And, I just am like, oh yeah, are people gonna see the way that I see them? So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what the fans are seeing in real time too, because I do just like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
casting and development. I'm not in the field for it, so I don't get to have like
Right,
that, full on like, here's the cameras, we're down with you guys for 3 months. I kind
right.
of let them go on their own journey after that. So it's a really big week. I'm excited. April
Yeah.
2nd, support the girlies. We love them and we stand them. And I hope to have a couple on the podcast because we've been talking about it.
I know,
Like,
that would be awesome. Yeah.
not being able to like have them on to talk about it now. It's like, okay, we can finally talk about things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm excited to, work that out and have them on. But the Hollywood of it all is I put together, since this is a big, big week, to ask Barb that some of the fans, some of the listeners, some of the supporters of the Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast, which we love you all, have wrote in. And I thought it was a great like piece to put together of like, okay, let's talk about Paul's Hollywood experience. So somebody asked, what was Paul's most, oh my God, this is a disaster job in Hollywood and why? I'm excited to hear your response on this because I'm like, there could be a couple.
In Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the disaster was probably Housewives of Dallas.
Yeah. Okay. Why do you say that?
Um, like what went wrong, everything could went wrong.
Literally everything went wrong. I
think
I was
you
so excited to,
personally, yes.
but I was so scared to actually take the chance to do it because I had never lived anywhere else but my home. So this was the first time I was going to be traveling on a show and like relocating. So, but sorry, I'll let you
Yeah.
take this over.
No. Again, yes, you were relocating. You personally were in
But a hot mess state.
a hot mess state, like breaking up with your boyfriend after 6 years, trying to like maneuver that whole situation of still living together, everything.
And then I was seeing
Yeah,
somebody else.
seeing somebody else, then again, moving somewhere, trying to figure out LA to now Dallas. Oh, and then the big one, COVID hit.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
COVID took it down, and you were literally the first person that we knew who ever
Uh-huh.
had COVID, and you
Yeah.
were down, like down and
Clock
out.
it. I'm a
Yes.
survivor, baby.
Yep.
I'm a
Like,
survivor.
were calling me, FaceTiming me literally on the bathroom floor. Do you remember that? You
Well, that
couldn't
wasn't because
even
I had
move.
COVID. That was because I had an STD.
No, that was
No,
prior. Oh,
I had
yeah,
an
then you had STD. Was it STD then COVID?
No, it was COVID then STD because I bounced back, and that was the reason I got an STD is because I was locked the fuck up in my apartment for 3 weeks and couldn't see anybody, and I was vulnerable, and I was in my little, like,
Literally.
slutted out phase, and I talked to somebody and was like, because what people don't know, they wouldn't let me back on set after I tested negative, like, I couldn't be around anybody,
Right, so you
and
weren't allowed to leave Dallas. You were working from your
apartment, my
hotel
bed.
room,
Yeah, my bed.
yeah, it was your
Well, they
bed
put me in a hotel at first for 2 weeks. Then I moved into an
to an
apartment.
apartment, yeah.
And the reason that I got COVID was because I had plans because I traveled back to LA for that guy that I was seeing. And I think I must have got it in the process of, I mean,
Yeah,
also, I don't know, Dallas at that time, they didn't give a flying fuck about it. Like, it was a free for all. Like, there was bars open. Like, you could do, it was, nobody was like social distancing. So who knows where I got it. But
I think you had, one of the mothers of the housewives.
Mama D.
I heard
Wait,
it, "Bless your heart," but which,
I loved her. I thought she was funny. Like she was really like because they would always want her to be involved in like the production of everything and like Mama G's not getting paid for this, right? But like
no, she kinda called the shots.
she
Yeah.
did. I was
She
scared of
called
like
the
I was like,
yeah, that's what I mean. You heard, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be there, but bless your heart."
yeah, I was like, oh, this is her way of saying, sweetie, if this isn't happening.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I will
there's a
say
lot of
too,
that.
the girls that I did work with, like I had a genuine like love
Yeah,
them. Like I talked to
yeah.
still most of them. I mean, I felt like I connected with a lot of the ladies on that show. Like
Yeah.
Stephanie Hallman, like still checks in on me and we talk. Tiffany Moon, Jen
I
David,
mean,
like
Tiffany sent me that Hall candle
candle
box.
set. That's yeah. So
Yeah.
there was a really like nice. I mean, when I went back to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dallas after like Stephanie took me and Jordy, my boyfriend, out
I
for like
know.
lunch and picked us up at our hotel and like took us to, I'm like, this, it was so sweet. So
Yeah,
there's like a
yeah, yeah.
special place in my heart for that. But that was really like a
It
shit
just
show. But
was, yeah, in that sense, it was a shit show. But the women were all very nice to you. They called to make sure you were
I
okay.
know, I
Yeah.
know.
I think
But it
one
was
offered for you to stay at her house. Remember? She was like to take
yeah,
care of you
yeah,
because she was sick. Yeah,
they were
yeah.
really kind. And also there was like this kind of like stigma that like you were like tainted if you had COVID, and like the girls were very supportive about like, don't feel
Yeah.
ashamed. Like, I
Yeah,
honestly
yeah.
thought the show was gonna be like stalled because I was gonna mess up production. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a page 6 article that it's like Real
Yeah,
Housewives,
yeah.
a Dallas producer contracts COVID and film and pausing production. Like
Yeah,
I was
because no one knew what to do with you because you were the first person, so they didn't know what to do. Like no rules were set at that time, so it was just very all over the place. Yeah.
all over the place. The next one was, what job challenged Paul the most?
Oh, I would say Beverly Hills. It was the first time you were like in the casting role and the
Mhm.
caliber of
Oh,
what they wanted. Yeah.
that caliber is so high, and they want everyone
Yeah.
to be connected with each other and friends, which is really hard because first of all, it was challenging at first just because to get in the swing of it, because it's not like,
Yeah.
you know, a a show maybe in a smaller part of the country. It's like Beverly Hills. That first of all, that's like, bitch, you better come in, you better be a
Yeah.
superstar, have the money, you better be flaunting your wealth, you better be like that bitch, right? So
Yeah.
then you got to make sure that they're all friends with each other, and that's really hard because they want you to be married, they want a younger women, they want somebody that has a notable name because that signifies the celebrity and Beverly Hills. And yeah, it
Right,
was
because just
challenging.
because you're in Beverly Hills doesn't mean you're all friends with each other.
No, you might,
Yeah.
and there's so many different circles and cliques of
Yep.
people that like
Yep.
you don't know who's genuinely friends with each other or not.
Right.
And I think the thing for that too was like, making sure that you get that superstar, and it's not somebody who's promising like fake wealth. The amount of people who like I would come and I'll never forget. There was this girl who literally told me she was friends with the whole cast. She hung in social circles with them. She didn't know anybody. She literally
Yeah.
didn't know anybody and was going around saying that. And I'm like, that's another thing too. People find out you're casting the show and then they're like, how
They
can I get
start
on?
coming
They
out of
they
the
know they
woodwork.
know how
Yeah.
to like play the game, and then they'll
Mhm.
promise you something that doesn't happen. And then we had somebody who was like a billionaire's wife. The thing is, that's great because that is so Beverly Hills, but a billionaire is not going to want his wife to get on camera and air out their dirty laundry because he's not going to be
No.
a billionaire anymore after that.
Right. Yeah,
So
people think that like not everybody does wanna be on the Beverly Hills Housewives. You know what I mean? Like
no,
that's gonna open up some worms in some people's
say that one
or
more time.
oh,
Let's.
yeah.
What was it? You took open up a can of worms and then skeletons in closets and you put it together. What was that? Worms in people's closets. Okay, I love that. Let's start. Let's start using that. They're gonna start open up worms in people's closets. I don't know what condition that is, but that doesn't sound too hot.
I'm sticking to that one.
Mhm. Yeah. So we all got what Barb was trying to say with that one. We all understood what
Uh,
Barb was trying to say.
yeah,
Um,
and that.
yeah, and we're just ending on that. What's the job that made me realize I never want to do that again?
I would say Vanderpump, and it wasn't the show. It
Mhm.
was more the, job title that you had
Damn,
that
look, Barb, you
you
remember all this stuff. Look at you.
well,
She
because I
doesn't wa
feel like
she doesn't
like
wash her hair for her kids, and she remembers every moment. I love how sweet of you.
well, because and I also feel like like, we travel there a lot. You'd come home a lot. Like we're
Yeah,
just
yeah. So we're
even
always
though
in.
we're long distance, it's not like, oh, I haven't seen my son in over a year.
No, yeah.
That
Well, I
would
mean, I
never happen. Yeah.
yeah, but I would call you after every freaking day and be like, "This is." So what you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
trying to say to explain it is that I was a segment producer on Vanderpump Rules, which segment is like so logistical, and it's like you are planning
Yeah.
and vetting all the places that they're filming at, and you need to make sure like the people that work at the restaurants are cleared and they're willing to be on camera, and you got to make sure that the location in there is like quiet, and you can have somewhere that's like good lighting, and like making sure
Right.
that the talent
The
has their
place, yeah,
orders, and like it's just
yeah.
and you're doing that. I mean, you got to think they film what, like how many scenes in a day, and you're doing that for 3 months, and then you do these cast trips where you have to also plan what they're doing in that, and then you're like, I don't even know anywhere in Lexington, Kentucky, but I got to figure out what's the best place to do it. So that to me was like, that was my first reality TV credit, but it was probably one of the most like rewarding, because I was like, this is very different, and I probably wouldn't ever do that again. But well, I
But
did
you
do that.
did like the one when you went to Mexico, and what was that? Love is Blind?
I did, yeah, yeah.
You like that one
Well, because I
because
really loved the team that I was working on,
the
and like it was.
team, and then the guy who took you all around to all the
Oh yeah,
restaurants and stuff.
Ricardo. Yeah, we had a
Yeah,
local guy that was so sweet, and he was like teaching me Spanish while I was there, and he was from there, and he was
beautiful
like the nice.
place you were put in.
Well, yeah, we stayed at
Yeah.
the oh my gosh, what was the
I
place
don't
that
know,
I
I
stayed?
just remember you got out of your bed and you had the waterfall pool right in front of you.
Oh my gosh, what was the place? It was gorgeous, but it was in Los Cabos. But
Gorgeous, yeah.
yeah, it was
But you
beautiful.
did like that one. Vanderpump was a little
The
tougher because
vice
it
the
was
viceroy. The viceroy, that's what it was.
oh,
Yeah.
but that one
Vanderpump
was
was
good. But I just remember you
Vanderpump
had to
was
go to all the restaurants in Mexico and you had the guy with you because you had
yeah.
to sit and do the logistics and you're
I
like,
know. I literally and so yeah, he was such a nice guy. Like, I literally still keep in touch with him, but,
yeah,
yeah, thank God I knew one of the women who owned one of the restaurants there, because we were developing another show with her, and her husband owned that restaurant, and I'm like, "What are the chances of me being
oh,
in
yeah, yeah,
Cabo
yeah,
and being able to help out her husband get exposure for his restaurant?" That was, like, different, because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, this feels
yeah.
very, like, luxury." Like, my
Mhm.
traveling for Vanderpump Rules was to Miami and Kentucky. So I'm like,
Kentucky.
they weren't really, like, the most, I mean, Miami was fun. It was hot as hell.
Yeah.
Last one, because I thought this one was, like, a nice way to tie it up, and a more,
What a life you've led. Listen to
yeah,
all these things.
STDs, COVID, what else?
Oh, no.
This most full circle job that I've ever had, like a job that I got there and I was like, "Oh, this was it,
Oh, that's E-News,
period." And
period.
damn, that was quick.
That was like a no thought process. Yeah.
And why?
That's all you talked about when you were younger was you were moving to Cal. I tell everybody when they're like, "Oh, why'd your son move to California?" I'm like, "My son's been wanting to move to California since he's been 10 years old." And for you to have that opportunity, which was crazy in itself,
It
that you're
was
in
crazy.
Philadelphia, meet up with a girl, 24 hours, you have a phone interview, and 2 weeks later, you're in California working on E! News. Like,
No, it was
legit,
it
that's
was literally, I ran into a girl that I used to intern with at the radio station iHeart in Philly, and, like, I was just always in such a funk, because I'm like, I didn't wanna stay in Philly anymore, I wanted to live in LA, I wanted to go to Hollywood, I wanted to work at E! News, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna like, I'm not giving up until this happens," and I literally was just walking into the gym, ran into the girl, and she
yep.
goes, "Oh, do you know" shout out to Chelsea Walker, she changed my life, I still text her all the time and say happy birthday.
Yes, but
I'm a
she
loyalist.
literally said to
Well,
you, "What are you still doing here? I thought you'd be in LA," and then
oh, yeah,
was,
yeah,
"Oh, wait, I know someone."
so I said, "My dream job is E! News," and she said, "Do you know Chelsea Walker?" And I said, "Oh, no, someone brought her up to me before, but I don't know her." And she said, "She used to intern at, iHeart, and she works at E! Let me put you in touch with her." I had a call, so literally within, like, 24 hours, I had an interview on the phone with the guy that was the boss, and he was like, I know you're in New Jersey, but how quick can you come out? And I remember I called you and you were like, we're getting you out there. We'll do whatever we need. You were going. And that was like that. Yeah. That was the moment that changed my life. And that part that was so weird. Just the right time. That is truly right time. Now looking back, that was really right time, right place.
Yes. Yeah, you couldn't make that up. Like, you could not make that story up. And literally in 2 weeks, you were in
And
California
yeah,
and did
driving
what you
3
had
hours
to.
driving 3 hours to get there, 3 hours
But
back.
you were
So
like such a typical California now, how like actors are like, I slept in my car and I
I
did
know
this.
that was kind
You
of my
literally were on people's couches,
uh-huh.
stayed at your cousin's drive 3 hours. Like,
Mhm. I even thought about sleeping in the office at one point because I was like, I don't want to drive back
yeah,
home.
like you went from there to being in Mexico at a 5-star hotel. Look at
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Well, last week I was just
That's a
having a
double
mental.
snap. That's not even clacking. That's a
Yeah, that's
double
just.
snap.
Well, last week I was having a mental breakdown. So look how quickly the tides can turn, right? This
Life
actually was good for
life
me.
throws
That
you turns.
Yeah, that truly. Thank you to all the individuals that sent in questions like that. That was like a
Yeah,
perfect
they
way
were
to
good
incorporate
ones.
that. Well, because I also feel like it was a nice way to pick myself up because the last couple of weeks on here I've been like, and like in a slump and haven't always felt like the most rewarded or like, wow, I'm really doing it in life. So this kind of was a nice way to like have
Aw,
you
good.
showcase that for me and kind of lift me up and then also be able to do that. So and then
Well,
hopefully
you
now we
always gotta take that positive, you know what I mean? There's always negatives in life, but you have to look at all those positive things too. I wish I could remember. I did my walk this morning. I got up very early and did a walk and was
Whoa,
listening to Mel,
of
and
course.
she said something and now I forget, but it was really good and I should have wrote it down because I was like, "Oh, I gotta tell Polly this about like something you should tell yourself when thoughts come in."
Like
But
something like you've come a long way or like something like
yeah,
you
you
like
can't have your future without your past or something like that. Like,
sounds
like
sounds
just yeah.
sounds very Mel Robbins-y.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There she is.
Yep.
There she
Yeah, I was
is.
in a mood. When I walk, it depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm like just wanting to chill, I'll like put funny, Smartless or Amy Poehler on or something. But today I was kind of feeling like melancholy and just
Needed a little
um,
Mel Robbins in your life.
yeah, need a little reset. Yeah.
A little melancholy. There you go. Picture of us. Well, I hope after we're saying right time and right place and all these things that have happened, and when I'm feeling down, I can look back and we can think of episode 58. Remember when I talked about where I was in life and what I wanted to do? And then be like, Mom, remember when we talked about it? Now look at us. We got to deal with iHeart or we got to deal with so and so. And now we got to distribute it and it's advertised. So that's something we're going to manifest here. That's a positive thought. And that's something that y'all can help us do with making sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube at Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom. We drop a new episode every Monday at 10 a.m. PST, 1 p.m. EST. Lock in, support us on there. And you can listen to us also on Spotify and Apple. Make sure, please, you are following us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom. And to the amazing people who sent in questions and were a part of the conversation and pretty much helped us produce an episode today. Thank you. If you want to be one of those people, email us at Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast at gmail.com. And thank you, everybody, for listening, supporting us. We love you. I could say that every time because it means a lot. And we look forward to doing this. So, Barb, you know what time it is.
It's time for hanging up now. Bye.
Call you later.
Call you later.
See everyone next week. Love you, Mom. Love you
Love
guys.
you.